Welcome back to my DDO free-to-play series. Today we're getting right back into where we left off yesterday, and we're going to be finishing Korthos, or at least most of the arc, I think. We'll get rid of this. We're going to turn our audio up because I was testing my levels before. And you can see we've got our daily rollback. Usually takes about 10-15 seconds for my game to fully load in. Oh, we got the worst possible. We rolled a 5. Beautiful. So before I do anything, I'm going to go sell up all of the crap we accrued last time, because it is burning a hole in my pocket. Don't want these. Something I didn't mention last time is proficiencies. These weapons here, they have a big exclamation mark. That means you're not proficient in using them. If they have a cross, it probably means you're out-leveled, so the item itself is too high level for you to use. Items have to be at least your level, if not below your level, to actually be usable. So that's something to keep in mind. It's worth holding on to high level items, obviously, if you want to use them at a later date. But yeah, if they're higher than you when you get them, you won't be able to use them right off the bat. Okay, now that we've got that out the way, we'll see what we need to do next. It seems like we need to talk to Ursa Jurnsvard. Saw that on the map there. And we're going into a quest called Redemption. Make sure that we still have our Highling. Highlings have a 1 hour timer, generally. This one's still got 42 minutes left, so we've got plenty of juice remaining. So, what we've just entered into is called a wilderness area in DDO. So basically, it's an area. It's an area unlike a public area because it's exclusive to your party. Only your party will be in these wilderness areas. There'll be enemies attacking you, but it won't be considered a quest. It's an area where there are lots of quest entrances. You can get Slayer points, so by getting these achievements you'll get experience for killing a certain amount of enemies. Rare encounters is obviously finding a rare enemy, and that'll get you a chest and some experience as well, and Explorer. So you'll get a big XP reward if you've got all of the rare encounters and if you found all the locations. Big is kind of a subjective term because the rewards aren't always actually that amazing. But sometimes it's worth grinding on Slayers. You can get Slayer buffs which make it really quick to get up these, and you'll get lots of experience. I sometimes do that in between quests when I just want to hit a level cap. I might go kill some things in a wilderness area. But generally speaking, you'll be going through a lot of wilderness areas in this game to get to quests. You can see here, there's a quest entrance, underground complex. The size of these areas varies drastically. Some of them are absolutely gargantuan, and some of them are just small little waiting areas to get to quests. This one is kind of in the middle. As I said before, there's enemies running around. You can see them, just minding their own business. So we're going to use our spells for the first time. So you can see that didn't do a great deal. These spells aren't that great at this level, and we don't have that high a negative spell stat yet, so we're not getting much bonus damage on our attacks. If you want to see your spell powers, you hover over this. You can see we're looking for negative. That's our necromancy spells. So our negative damage, we've only got 15 bonus to that, and we've only got a 5% spell crit chance increase. So not amazing at this point. Obviously that's because we've only got one level of wizard. We're level 2. And we've got no items that buff our stats whatsoever. Yep, still manages to kill them. And like I was saying, I keep this box here so I can see how much I've done. See roughly how many points of damage my critical hits do. I just like to keep an eye on it. It's definitely not necessary. Cool. Well, Highling's actually quite decent. That's what I get for ragging on the last time so much. There we go, you can see we killed 10 inhabitants, so we got that little experience boost. And you can check what the rewards are by going into here and clicking. Okay, well this is the wilderness area. It will show you what the next reward is. So if you kill 25, you'll get this. If you find all of the rare encounters, you get a bonus 300, and each one is 200. Just pointing these things out because a lot of the mechanics of this game go unexplained by the game itself, and you kind of just have to piece it together. getting a bit of Orion lag. Nothing too bad at this point. As I was saying recently, there was a massive, I wouldn't call it a server merge, but it was similar. They changed, they allowed free transfers to a couple of servers, so everyone kind of went, everyone who was spread across servers and they couldn't play together went, oh, well, we may as well transfer to one of these free to transfer servers, and then we can actually play together without paying the extortionate cost of transferring, which is usually in place. What that means, basically, everybody migrated to Orion, and now it has the largest server population by far. It's good for me because I was already on this server, and it means there's lots of new faces around and guilds popping up, but it does mean it's having a bit of lag because it's not used to the amount of players on it. That's alright. Before that, Argonessen was the busiest server, but still not as big as this one is now. This has really got to be the biggest. They've made Galanda the new default server, so when you load in your game client, it'll be the one selected. If you want to go onto Orion, which is the busiest, then you just have to find it on the list. Ooh, arrows. You can hear a trap before we see it. There are plenty of traps. So I believe in this quest you've actually got to find the hidden doors, and there are levers to turn the traps off. Not all traps in the game have a control panel. As you can see, it's just this. And I'm guessing the other one's in here. Someone's spamming in general chat. It's nice to have a big population again. In fairness, I think these guys are just trying to move around and they're accidentally typing it. I can forgive that. Again, I'm smashing all these breakables to get that nice little experience bonus. Sometimes there is no point doing that because the base XP that you get from it is so small that a percentage increase isn't worth it. That's kind of the case with these Korthos quests. I'm mainly running through these Korthos quests because it's what a new player would do. I usually go to Keep on the Borderlands and they have 8 quests that are level 1 and they're all very quick to complete and they're about similar experience. There are more decent weapons there as well. Some of the things you find in the chest are the best you can get for level 1. There isn't much point maxing out your gear at level 1 because you just progress so fast that you're not actually going to make use of it. As you get more towards level 10 you might start getting item sets, which is obviously when you collect a bunch of items in the same set and it gives you a benefit for having those equipped. So you might have 3 pieces of like a Beacon of Magic, for example. And each of those items by themselves are good, but by having all 3 equipped, you get an additional bonus overall. Item sets really become popular, probably level 5 actually, because there's Fables of Feywild, and they have item sets that are pretty decent. Other than that though, it's really Ravenloft that I start bothering. And that's level 10. Alright, so we're going to have to pull some levers, some valves. To find where the hell they are. Where's the other one? There. Oh, and we've still got these 2. Nice. I think that's an optional area where you need the lock-picking ability, so we can do that, yeah. Don't think there are any traps in here. You see it's locked. You right-click it with the mouse to highlight it, and then we're going to use this button. And it's the same check here. We've got open lock, and we can open it because we have that skill. These guys are going to come to life, I think. It's going to stand there. That's odd. Okay. I really thought they became reanimated. We've got our first robe though. This is plus to corrosion and combat mastery. We may as well equip it. It's not too ugly actually. I'm going to take my cloak off. You can toggle cosmetics by just clicking the button there. There we are. And we can walk over this, thankfully. None of your business.
Oh no, the Sawagan found me.
Well, I find Warforged so ugly.
They wouldn't have sent so few after me. Stay alert. It'll take more than that to put me down. Korthos still blocking our escape. Watch for more attacks.
So at this point in my wizard life, I'm really only lightly using spells. That reminds me we didn't actually equip our spells because they're not that powerful at the moment. I knew there was something I'd forgotten. What's interesting is somebody commented on one of my videos in the past that they completely forgot to equip their spells. They wondered why they were so weak, and I've gone and done the same thing. So, ooh, I must be fully rested. Okay, so if we rest here we can do it, but I won't do it in this quest. I'll just do it when I get back to the public area. Is that it? No? Okay.
They won't stop until you're dead.
So the graphics of this game definitely have their charms. It's probably the least important aspect of a game to me.
Just hold for a little longer.
A big alchemy stand, or I'm just a short guy. There we go, we got our boss for the adventure. Nothing to write home about.
The Sawagan magic is gone. We beat them off this time. Go now. Tell Ursa to hold the barricade just a little longer. Then
I can do that.
Malcolm at the base of Misery's Peak when you're ready.
Cool, and we've got experience. So now we're going to recall like we did in the last, well, not in the last, in one of our previous adventures. And we're going to go find this lady so we can get our next quest in the chain. So this will exit you back into this area, and once again you're going to want to recall from the wilderness area, or you can walk back if you're so inclined. There's Ursa. What are these? Shield of Faith, Heal Wounds, and Featherfall. Those are only like you tap them once to use, like once per rest. You can get an item with Featherfall that's constant, it doesn't go away, which is much better. We're going to go find Ambience, who's back in the wilderness area, but first, to slot our spells, we need to be in a tavern. So we'll head up here. There we go, we can go to spells, and I'm going to slot in Jump, Expeditious Retreat, and I could pick a damaging spell, but I'm pretty happy with what I've got. And there's Night Shield there, so for now, I guess I'll slot in Flaming Bolt. I don't think I'll need much defense in this next quest. It's not like I can play it on a hard difficulty. I'm going to be playing it on normal, of course, because that's what I'm limited to. So I'd rather just move around, get through the quest quicker, and then have an extra damaging move. As you can see here, we've run out of spots, so what you want to do is click this. Okay, and that's still our default. If it changes and your hotbar is selected to one you don't want it to be, you just hit Control and then whatever number is on the hotbar that you want to be your primary. So say I want 2 to be my primary one. I've selected that now. Control 2. Control 1. Now this is my main bar. It's that simple. I'm going to rearrange them. I usually have my damaging spells down here, and my buffs on top, and then maybe another slot with my utility stuff. Totally personal preference though. Yep, Flaming Bolt. Stick that there. We don't really need Trip and Sunder anymore. I keep them on because I like spamming buttons like that, but you really don't need them. Utility stuff will stick up here. Actually, we'll slot that there. There we go. It's kind of tidy. Doesn't matter how you do it, but I like to have things sort of neat. And we'll go find Amalgam again. I'm really noticing my lack of Featherfall. Dodge and Vertigo, not really important for this character. So back into the wilderness. Do I need to talk to Ingram? That's my question. What do you do? Ah, cool, yeah. He's just basically, if you talk to him, he'll tell you to go find Amalgam. I'm not sure if you need to, or if he'll just give you the quest marker. I can't remember. We also, I think in the wilderness area you can cast these buffs. Oh no, sorry, it's Summoning Highlands. Yeah, you can cast these spells wherever you want in an adventure. If you want to use a Highling, you have to summon it at the front of wherever you've entered. So if you start walking into a quest, you get halfway and then you want your Highling, it's like, it's too bad. You have to go back to the start of the quest to do it. That's not the case with Gold Seal Hirelings, but those are premium content. Yeah, we've used our Flaming Blast. Actually did alright. Just kill these guys because I can. Gotta navigate our way to Amalgam. Like I said, it's been so long since I've done it, hopefully I'll find the right way. Yep. Another thing I didn't mention is auto-targeting. So I've got it set to auto-target my enemies. You toggle that with G. I find it way easier to play with it on, and it just makes things simpler. But if you want to have it disabled and you have to manually select everything you interact with, that's your choice. To look around, I'm clicking down my right mouse button and then just moving my mouse side to side. And to get that full view where I can look behind myself, you press down the scroll wheel and look around. Probably should have covered that earlier, but I figure it's still worth mentioning. Cool, and he'll get us to walk down there. I'm going to use this restaurant real quick because I've blasted away all of my spell points. And that would be because I haven't disabled Maximize on my Flaming Blast, and it will be costing me a lot. Yeah, so if you set this to always off, then it's capped at 2. It'll only ever cost you 2 spell points. These can't use Maximize. So these buffs can also be used with meta magics. You'll be using things like Heighten, Extend, so the duration is extended, things like that on those, and you'll be using Maximize and other effects for the damaging spells. Sometimes there's some crossover. There are a lot of meta magics you can get. I think there are 6 or 7. One of them's useless. It's called Eschew Materials, and it just means you don't need to buy spell ingredients. It's really not worth a feed slot at all. You can just buy ingredients and keep them in your inventory tab. There we go. Misery's Peak. It's a level 2 quest, which is good because we should get a bit more experience for it. Yes, that's chunky. So I'll bring in Dryad. She's already here. I'm going to buff myself a bit. This means I've got 5 minutes to run and jump faster. Lovely.
You're here. Come. There isn't much time. Selimus, ready your party. I will weaken the barrier.
I am heartened to ready. Charge!
Good. Now to clear your path.
Apparently I'm as strong as all 3 of those guys combined. I've got to go by myself. Oh. Now, negative damaging spells like these two will heal undead enemies. You get an enhancement at a certain point that means it heals them only the first time you hit, and then it does normal damage to them. But at this point, if we were to use it on one of these enemies, like here, oh no, not that guy, my bad, it would just heal their hit points. What is this? We've already found some restaurants. I heard a potion drop here. So smashing containers sometimes gets you a random item. I've actually been lucky enough to get a tome from one of them before, and that's just a permanent increase to your stats that persists through reincarnation. So your character will always be that much more powerful. Usually you have to buy tomes, but sometimes if you're very lucky they'll drop for you, and you can get them as a quest or a saga reward. So if you complete a series of quests that are like a story arc, you'll get rewarded either a massive experience lump or a tome. And I tend to go for the tomes, because you can get experience anywhere, but those are a one-time thing. I can't remember this quest very well. It's been a few years. We'll see how I go. Just one of these light signal crystal affairs, but I think there's a bit more to it than that. Cool. I'm gonna light up this. What does that permit us to do? Does that light up one of the signal crystals, or does it just allow us to get to a lever? I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, too fast, Brad. Now I'm just grabbing the potions because I can sell them. I'm kind of starved for money at this point in the game. That's one of the gate crystals. I just saw that red outline. That means there's a character or an enemy sneaking around there. Whether you see that or not will depend on your spot skill. So another useful reason to have a bit of points in that. Most characters don't really have much spot skill. Mine's still pretty terrible, but I'm managing to see some stuff. You deal with him. Oh yeah, why not? I was just about to plunge myself off this cliff and go in that door, but that would kill me because I don't have Featherfall. Unless I use this one here, we have Featherfall. So you can see I just double tapped it, and that permits me to use it that one time. Much more useful to just have it as a passive ability, and I almost always recommend getting Featherfall at the earliest possible time, because there are lots of quests where you have to jump, and if you did without, you would die. So it's important to have. Now where was that door? I'm guessing it's down here. And we've lost our Featherfall. Oof. Let's see what we get. 6, 7, so that did significant damage to me. There's our door. I'm more impatient than I am sensible, so sometimes I'll just jump down to my death because I can't wait the 5 seconds it takes to go down a flight of stairs. I've mentioned hardcore passingly in my last video, a couple of times probably. It's a fairly recent server that they've added to this game where if you die, you're gone, your character gets deleted. It doesn't matter whether you use a resurrection spell or a shrine, the second you die, your character will be deleted. And there's nothing you can really do about it, or there isn't anything you can do about it. And it adds a bit of fresh content for people who've played the game for a long time, because it's like you're playing it for the first time again. You don't have anything on the server, like unless you're a VIP you might get some benefits, but all of the items you've grinded for on your other servers aren't there. You have to play as a first life character again, which is a foreign concept for a lot of people, and it's just a challenge, which is something that isn't so like present for most players, as they've got a lot of lives and the content gets easier. Obviously there's still challenge to the game if you play on Reaper difficulties, but it's a fresh thing, and it's been very popular. It's brought quite a few players back to the game, or new players to the game, so I think it was overall a very good idea. So I'll demonstrate the healing effect. You see, he just got a +2 when I use that negative spell. So by using it on these guys, I'm healing them, which we don't want to do. Some enemies are totally immune to certain spell types as well, so you'll be wanting to choose what spell types to use in advance. Some quests just have enemies that will resist all of your spells, and you'll have to rely on your hireling or your friend to deal the damage. Big dragon. Not my problem. Do we have to wait for some battle sequence? Or can I just get in here? I see it. Can hear some bats? Or is that the rat sound effect? Can't remember. So the whole time I'm conscious of my spell points going down, and I want to make sure that I'm within a rest shrine. Once you get under 10 points, you'll start automatically regenerating spell points up to 10. So that allows you to use some cheap spells even once you've killed all your spell points. A bit of survivability. But there won't be enough spell points left over in that level, in that area, to be able to buff yourself, so it's pretty bad. Especially if your hireling gets to no spell points, because then you've got nobody to heal you. And that's when you need to rely on potions. Always worth carrying a stock of potions if you're unfamiliar with the quest, because you just don't know what's going to happen. Cool. Every time you rest, also your positive effects, as you'll notice, they've gone away, and you'll have to rebuff yourself. Oh, come back here. Shoot him from a distance, but it wasn't enough. Getting a bit of lag this morning, but it's nothing terrible. Using up all my starter potions because I can't be bothered waiting for my hireling. Well, I don't see them. Am I blind? Ah, now I do. Oh, Highling. What's he doing? So you see there, I just teleported him to me by using the footstep button. It's quite useful, especially if you notice he's taking tons of damage and you want to bring him out of it quickly. Most of the time you'll be able to just click that and teleport him. Sometimes he'll be caught up, not able to move or something, and you won't be able to teleport him no matter how many times you click it. It's worth keeping an eye on your Highling, especially if you've got no self-healing abilities, because it can be pretty devastating if your Highling dies for some stupid reason, and then all of a sudden you're totally vulnerable to everything. Thank you, I was about to make you do that. Oh yep, I'll jump and stick these on me so I can move a bit faster. So this does, what's this? Is this 25%? So if you go to your stats and you click the plus button, you go to movement, it'll show you what your multiplier is, so 100 or 99 is your base, so I'm getting 25 bonus. And these are all your buffs to spellcasting and general combat and stuff. It's very intricate if you want to know the ins and outs of every stat change you've got and what your items are doing. It's helpful. I love tripping people while I'm in midair. It's a cool effect. There we go. This is quite a long quest. It's the final quest in the Korthos arc, so they have to make it fairly bulky, and at the end you'll get some reward for doing it, which is, if I remember correctly, pretty decent for the level. It's nothing that you'll be blown away by, but you might end up using it till like level 3 or something. I figured it was worth doing this. Like, as I said, most new players will run through this content, so I may as well act as if I were a new player and do it. It's pretty fun to revisit. And that's the great thing about this game, there's so many quests that each life can be pretty much totally different. There are some quests you might run in every life just because they're too good to pass up. I can also recommend the DDO wiki, it's amazing. It'll tell you every enemy that's in a quest, what rewards you can get from that quest, the drop rates of those rewards, everything you could imagine. And it's very useful if you're trying to collect a set of items to know exactly where they are, what to farm, and yeah, just invaluable. Also, there's solutions to some puzzles in the game which I just cannot solve by myself. Some puzzles seem totally random to me, like it's a sequence that you wouldn't arrive at through any logical process. It's just like a cheat code that you have to memorize, and I can't remember it, so yeah, it's useful for that. Here we go, we can also get our spell points back up, and you can make your Highling use the shrine as well. She's used a couple of spell points. She's actually doing very well considering she's healed me that many times. But yeah, you can force everyone to heal. There we go. Buffs were removed. You want to make sure you don't have her highlighted when you're using some buffs, because some of the buffs can be used on a friend, like jump. It can be you or a friend. This one is only yourself, so it doesn't matter what you've got selected when you use it. But you want to keep that in mind, because sometimes you can waste spell points thinking you're buffing yourself, and you're actually buffing your Highling. And it's fairly frustrating. These Highlings don't deserve buffs. You see those purple damage markers? That means that my attack was very effective against them. Obviously it was an ice enemy and I was using fire, so it's got some basic Pokemon logic to it. go. You'll get that little warning or pop-up if you're trying to pick up an item that is exclusive to you. So if only you can use it and you can't trade it or sell it or whatever, then it'll come up there. You can still destroy it by just dragging an item off. I'll show you. You just drag this off. Yep, we'll destroy that. And you can clear your inventory space that way. You only get 3 tabs to start with, which is pretty minuscule if you don't have any bags to keep your stuff in. You can get more without paying, and you can also pay to get more. It seems to be the theme of this game. You can either grind for something, or you can just buy it. I've gathered.
Here, take this bottle, so you won't have to walk back.
Yeah, we got a reward there. Nice. So then you turn it into this guy, and you'll get the reward for the whole arc, which isn't too bad. Protector's Brooch, Strength and Resistance, Pathfinders, Archivists is, here we go, we get, restores 10 to 35 spell points. We can use that, here we go, two times per rest. So if you're very low on spell points and you want some help, there's that. Arcane is Intelligence, Charisma, and 24 Universal Spell Power, which is also very useful. It would be a toss-up for me between Archivists and Arcane. I'll probably go with Arcane just because it's a bonus to Intelligence, and that's what I like. There we go. And with that, we've completed the Korthos arc. So this guy, you talk to him. Oh, he's still got his chalice, but nothing there. We talk to her. She can take us to Stormreach, which is the first kind of major hub in the game alongside the marketplace. And in here, you'll find a ton of quests. There's a better hireling vendor, so hirelings that are actually at our level, and it's a good spot for this level. That's why they've done it that way. There's a bunch of level 2 quests in this area, and they get you much more XP than any of those Korthos quests did. Check out everything we've got. We can sell some things here. We've got the general supply and spell ingredients, so if any of your spells actually require ingredients, you can pick them up from her. There are better places to get them, but at this level, that's fine. I'm going to get rid of the feather cloak, I think. Oh, we might hold on to it just in case. It did kind of come in handy. Get rid of that. Inches of fine sand. There we go. And you can click on this tab to see if any of your stuff needs repairing. And it did. Now, we're level 2 and we want a level 2 hireling, so I'm just going to drag Dryad out and destroy the contract because we're not going to be using her anymore. We're going to be using something at our level. So we have the choice between Tobias and Bellast. There's not really much difference, so I'm going to get 2 of her. And now we're here, we can check our mail. So there's a mailbox there, we've got some kind of letter. I think it's that we've got a reward, so yes, we've gotten 50 points to spend in the store. Which means we're halfway to unlocking one of those packs that's greatly discounted. And you check your points just by going into the store, obviously. And there we go, we got 50 points. So yeah, you can buy anything with those points in game, and we've earned that from favor awards. You can obviously just buy points if you want, but we're doing it free to play and we'll keep doing it that way. I might run one more quest for this video since we've done Misery's Peak now. A great quest to do when you first get here is up here. It's called the Kobold's New Ringleader. I think it's the highest XP to effort quest in the harbour. Usually I'd go into this on elite difficulty or something, but obviously we're handicapped to normal, given our free-to-play status. There you go, we'll use one of these. Make sure you don't use both, just use one at a time, otherwise they'll both expire at the same rate, and you only get one hireling out of it. What's this? No, okay. Oh, they are different. There we go. Oh no, keep you on that. Ah, I needed that spell ingredient to use jump. So there you go, that's worth noting. Need pinches of fine sand if you want to use jump. We'll go buy some ingredients after this is done. And this is your first time seeing kobolds, I think. They're a pretty commonplace enemy throughout this game, and they're very weak most of the time. You want to watch out for kobold shamans because sometimes they can cast pretty devastating spells at this level anyway. Yep, got a shield. Nice, that room's done. See if we can use that shield. We're not proficient with shields, that's right. So we'd get a negative 15% to our attack damage output, which isn't worth it for the AC that it provides. And if you saw that, yeah, we're getting warned about a trap. Obviously hitting explosive barrels will hurt you if you don't have a good enough reflex save. We'll avoid that. There's the trap, there's the panel. He's just gotten frozen by the trap. By disabling all the traps in the quest as well, you get a bonus to experience. So tamper bonus, at the moment it's 10%. I think it goes up to 30%, which is drastic. So by being able to trap in this life, we're getting a big increase to our experience overall, if we choose to actually disable all the traps. Bear with me while I smash these. There's so many in this quest I might not actually bother trying to get ransack. There's the shaman I was talking about. I usually try and disable these guys as quickly as possible. He's dead. Both of these rooms I've done aren't actually necessary, they don't have any levers in them. And we've got a mini boss in here. A pretty weak one. Iron key, so we needed that. Yeah, I can't be bothered going through smashing all these barrels. Some quests it's easy to do. What's that? Okay, we've got devotion, so positive spell power that'll help us heal better. We're not going to be healing ourselves though. Not in the standard way anyway, not for quite a while. Evocation bonus, so most of our damaging spells, like our fire spells, that would get a bonus to their difficulty checks, which would make them stronger. We could use that. I tend to not start using scepters until a bit later when our spells are actually like one-shotting everything and being a bit more useful. There we go. I don't know how I opened that. It's an accident. Could you heal me quickly? Thank you. Broncar's cloak. What's that? +1 will save. I mean, it's not as good as what we got on there. That's an augment slot, so you'll find these augments randomly in chests if you're lucky, and they'll have different buffs that you can slot onto your equipment, so you can make customized enchanted items if you wanted. It's kind of like a cheap way of doing crafting, or like a lazy way of crafting. Back here. Nothing here to worry about. Worth noting the shrines are there though, like I was mentioning last time. You can see we've got another rune blocked door. I don't know if I've mentioned, but this XP button here doesn't just show you XP, it shows you who's got the most kills and everything, so you can see that I've got 17, she's got 9, one's died by misadventure, which was that trap. These are all the optionals we've done, and it will tell you if we miss one, so this is one here that we can still do. All your bonuses from doing different stuff in the quest. quite useful. It'll also list off all of the deaths you have, if you want to laugh at someone. Damn, you jump high. It's being evasive. We haven't got any breakable bonuses yet. I think you have to get like 200 in this quest to start getting a bonus, and I cannot be bothered. Gondok's boots. Jump. Well, we may as well equip those because we don't have any boots on. So what's our jump skill now? Watch me miss it, there we go. It's 7. Amazing 7. So each skill is tied to a ability, you can see here. So our intelligence affects our disable advice skill, and our spellcasting skill, and our search and repair. So yeah, those are tied directly together. If you have a really bad ability that's tied to a skill you want to use, then you'll suffer some penalties. Which is why it's good to multi-class a wizard and a rogue, because you're naturally going to have high intelligence anyway to do your spell damage, so it helps with your trapping ability at the same time. There are so many different ways to multi-class in this game. You can have up to 3 classes on a character, so you could be a ranger, rogue, fighter if you wanted, or you could be a wizard, artificer. Some combinations make no sense to do. Other ones can be very versatile and powerful. There are lots of build guides out there on the internet. The one I'm doing at the moment is kind of a loose idea. There are some Pale Trapper build guides out there, but I just play what I like to do. Take bits from each. We could have healed then to get our spell points back up, but I don't think we'll need to. Go. And see, that quest got us roughly the same amount of XP as Misery's Peak did, and it took a 5th of the time. So knowing what quests to run where will save you so much time in this game, and make it more enjoyable, because you can blitz through this early level content, which is a bit repetitive, and get to the good stuff without being weighed down by the same boring concepts. I feel like this game really comes into its own around level 4 or 5. That's when you start getting tons of options as to what you want to do, and it's a lot more fun. If you were to only experience the first 3 levels of the game, it would make perfect sense to me why you might be put off, because yeah, it can suck. Especially if you're soloing it and you have no idea what to do. And we finished that quest. I think that'll pretty much wrap up this episode, because we've done everything I plan to do and more. In the next one we'll be doing some harbour quests, and maybe starting the Waterworks chain, depends if we hit level 3. It's a good chain to do, so obviously I'm going to be picking the highest experience quests to run. Proof against disease. Glaciation, no. Death block, that is handy to have. That means you can't be obviously killed by a death spell and instantly die. That's quite useful. And there are some negative effects that this will prevent against. We've got chainmail. Probably, yeah, the best would be this death block. It's got a 10% spell failure on it though, because it's a type of armor that's not good for us. I mean, it's all kind of shit, to be honest. I'll just take the necklace. We'll sell that. And we've got some enhancement points to spend as well, so we'll spend those. We'll stick the final one into here. It's important to unsocket this and then replace it with the upgraded enhancement, because for a while at least, I don't know if it's still the case, it won't automatically update and you'll be stuck with the weaker version. And we've got 2 more points to spend, so we can splash into our Skeletal Knight, which I might do, or we can get our negative energy crit. I'm going to go into 2 of the Spell Knight. There we go. And now we can summon him. He can run around with you in public areas, but obviously he's only going to attack things in wilderness areas and quests. And you get another hotbar, so alongside your Hireling you'll have this. You can make him angry, defensive, peaceful, teleport him around, just like the other guy. he will be a fighter of the same level as your wizard levels. So we've got 1 wizard level, so he'll be a level 1 skeletal knight, which means pretty much he'll always be 1 or 2 levels below us because we're going to splash into rogue. But he's still really useful, and there are buffs in the tree to make him stronger. He's really just handy to have as a wall, so he'll attack some enemies and you can blast them from a distance. And he's a lever puller. Some quests you can only get through with 2 people. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope it was useful. The next video will be coming out soon, I think. Bye.